My name is Margaret Ann Windsor. I was kidnapped in 41 from Buckingham Palace and taken to Moulton, Alabama, where they gave me the name of the twin, Peggy and Dempsey, and my married name was Childers. The twins, Carl and Peggy, were both killed by their mother. They were born out of wedlock, and I grew up with them hiding the fact because that she killed them and who I am, because she would have faced the gas chamber in Alabama for killing the twins. So that was the family I grew up with, being told that she was my mother and that I was a bastard and illegitimate and all this. And mistreated, and living conditions were like out of some hellhole, that's all I can say. I've put on tapes, and I've gotten two of them that won't go up. They're not duplicates, but they won't go, so I'm going to quit on that. I've got many up here telling what has been done to me and telling about me writing of mind control back in 77, 78, and being flown to Larry Flint's during a political campaign in 83 for his political support about a Dr. Larry McDonald, who I had written about in the medical malpractice book and about mind control back in 77, 78. So here you've got his plane going down. He's on it in the circumstances. I'm flown to Flint, and so I'm just giving you a little background on it here. What Larry Flint said to me, so he already knew about me when I was flown out there in October twice of during the campaign of 83. Larry McDonald was U.S. House of Representatives and doctor from Atlanta, Georgia, Piedmont Hospital, that I'd written about. But mental health was used in all this, and it was a murder weapon. That's exactly what it was. A diagnosis that was a lie. I'm allergic to chemicals. It has nothing to do with mental illness. It has to do with my immune system. Something they did to me when they kidnapped me and brought me over here in 41, my immune system, if I'm around certain chemicals, industrial, or some household, makes my immune system attack itself. And I get really, really sick. And over the years, the inflammation and everything has done so much damage to my kidneys, lungs, my vascular system. My veins have just broken. When I get around certain things, it's your nose automatically. You're smelling it, and you have to get away from it. The veins start burning and breaking. If it's a place where you live, let me put it this way, it's not so easy, at least for me, to get up and leave, or when nobody will fix it and when it's done deliberately. So this is how I've been moved around, and this part done to me in the last years, to where I'm in bad shape: lungs, liver, everything, kidneys, legs, can't walk. Waiting and hoping that it can take me home. Now then, I wanted to read this, and this is a man that I consider saved my life. He did back in when they Lana Dempsey, the woman that was the mother to the twins, and she didn't want it told. She was afraid if the book was published, and the woman was just a sociopath, psychopath. My God, she killed her kids, and then what she did to me. But she was wanting me shut up, and she actually told me, this is after I had the antifreeze put in me on April Fool's Day of 80, and I thought it was because of me writing about the book, but not so. It was later I found out about my kidnapping in 83 from Madrid, and there was a reason for all this being done to me. But she had me locked up illegally for a month. Judge Green, the probate, she was friends of the former Judge McCoy that represented Lana Dempsey, having me locked up, trying to send me off again. It's hideous. And you get rid of me using the mental health facilities. So Jack was the one that stepped in there and actually saved my life. He worked for the Huntsville Times. And later, he was gone, and he actually lives out in California now, and I think he's retired. But I wanted to read the letter from him. It says, Dear Peggy, I received your postcard in March the 23rd. This is written on the 24th of March of '06. And strangely, I had been thinking about you a few days earlier and hoping you were doing well somewhere, somehow. It's been a long haul for both of us, hasn't it? Longer than any of us probably would have ever suspected, thinking back to the 80s and earlier. The frustration, however, is that we may never really know why what we're doing so to see, because my kidnapping and all of that, and the mind control that becomes involved. And he says that would be cruel to all of us, so even now we'll see what comes next. I do remember way back in some of our first meetings at actually it was Warren House, when I was working for the district attorney, Fred Simpson in Huntsville. He says Haystack Apartments, which I did live a little later. It seems I was somehow primed for those early encounters, considering I was being psychologically spoon-fed on circumstances, situations backing up not just to protection rackets and corruption and political and otherwise. The cancer was growing in Huntsville. Much of the big picture went back as far as Sheriff Dave Hedrick or Bulldog Daniel, all the way back, would you believe, to before and during World War II. So I am leaning forward and historically backward at the same time. Now we're 26 years later, and much of what I have experienced is with me still every day, some part of every day, and I'm still learning. It's been an incredible journey. So I'm going to skip down to this. I distinctly recall your efforts at trying to fathom numerology and its links and connections you were perceiving. The number 22, which I find out I'm living at Warren House, and I find out it's the Kennedy, John Kennedy and his father Joe, who was ambassador to Great Britain when they took down my father, King Edward VIII, and helped kidnap me and bring me over here. So the 22nd is when John Kennedy was shot. And they don't mention anything about me and taking out my brain on how many occasions, or really trying. They just leave it inside your skull to do it. At first I did not understand, but that too would change. Okay, let me skip over. It's going to take up time there and it won't go up. You were indeed trying to pull back curtains on so many nasty, clandestine, bizarre, and dangerous happenings in Huntsville's underworld. It wasn't pretty. So to discredit you and later me, the logic of some very sinister people was simply to go to the length to destabilize your life, make you appear to be nuts, loony, schizophrenic, paranoid, to break you, if at all possible, psychologically and emotionally. I know that feeling all too well. Okay, he talks about some other stuff there. We earned the right to be nuts, but alas, we aren't, at least not quite yet. You may or may not know that during the period when our paths crossed, Huntsville was considered the third most sensitive area in the nation where national security was concerned. After all, it's the guts of the U.S. space program, the home of the anti-ballistic missile research projects, and the location where every Army tactical missile system field anywhere in the free world was managed, where security leaks of sensitive data were occurring far too often, where the Army's missile and center and ammunitions, I think so, yeah, and school operated, where, okay, I'm going to go on down to where J. Edgar Hoover's FBI Division 5, a super-secret police agency, had operated since the early 40s. By the way, they're the ones that ended up with the Tesla files in 30, and that's the mind control and how you create illnesses and make disappear of natural cause. You can create an illness and cure it. So all this stuff about the hospitals and all that, you really don't need. But anyway, Hoover's 5, a super secret police agency, operated since 40s. In fact, it was so sensitive, it didn't exist. Okay, I'm going to have to hurry. This is not going to get on here. Sometimes the cloak of national security can be seriously abused, not to protect the nation's secrets, but to hide and bury blunders, even some very blurry conspiracies that more than hint at heavy criminal involvement in defense contracting. So he goes on here, anyone who tells about it, in essence, is crazy. Crazy enough to wonder about the people who've been in Dallas November the 22nd of 63, about them being placed in Huntsville after the Jim Garrison conspiracy trial about Jack Kennedy. He says one of those individuals looked me up in Huntsville. He was forced to be placed in Huntsville and discussed being interrogated in Dallas. Then he says one such way was through a program called MK Ultra, a mind-controlled, mind-altering research project, which the Central Intelligence Agency at the time had been dabbling in for years. Targets were sometimes given LSD, other mind-manipulating chemicals with intent to destabilize. Often the targets never knew they were given the stuff. Still another program tried to research efforts called psychotronics in the U.S. and formerly called psychotectronics by the later defunct, he's saying Soviet Union, was pursued using, this is by the Americans here, using electronic frequencies, low-level frequencies, in some cases in what is called brainwave entrainment. And this is what I was telling about too back in the book about mind control. The concept can implant fear, lethargy, manic moods, even deep depression, unexplained paranoia. A gentleman named Nikola Tesla was researching psychotronics far back as 30. Okay, so I'm going to go on if I've got time on this. I think I have. In my judgment, you were one of those who had been targeted by MK Ultra for whatever reason. Well, Jack knows it's because of who I am. In fact, he was out near George O'Keeffe, my aunt, her ghost ranch, and he was, well, I won't tell because I don't want to get him in trouble because he's had enough himself. And it may come as a surprise to you, but I did share a lot of this with Larry Flint last year. You may already know that. I did as far as I know, Larry Flint, he told the truth, and that's the reason he got locked up and tortured and buttoned. So on down here, the truth, something like that would open Pandora's box. He's talking about something else I'm skipping through. At quiet moments, I do try to make a grounded assessment of all the above. If the dastardly events above, particularly as related to the FBI's Division 5 and assorted shenanigans were public, what would be the result? It would perhaps be very destabilizing for the nation as a whole. The Huntsville experiments, the agony of 63, the aftermath, the clandestine Huntsville. And here's where he says, I recall being told once of an individual who referred to me once in Huntsville as the last thing we need here is some red-blooded All-American boy waving the flag and calling it like it is. Still I try.